I'm going to go with what I think Rosas is going to do because I think that's what matters. In the sample size of 22 games, when Edwards, D'Lo, and Cat played together, um, we ranked number one in offense and number 29 in defense. Currently, I think it's the Hawks were eighth in offense and like 26th in defense, and they're the fifth or sixth seed. And I think the Trailblazers were like top five in offense and in the mid 20s in defense. So like there is a possibility for just an as is Timberwolves team to be, you know, as Jared said, five, six, around there in the rankings. But I don't think we're gonna stay put. I think we're gonna make a move. And I'm just making the assumption that we're not going to get the draft pick, just because that's easy odds to talk with. Um, I think, I personally think Beasley's out the door. I think he's the most expendable option we have, and I think he's the most expendable option that has value, I should say. Um, and the guy that I've completely fallen in love with that I want us to go after, and it's not even close, is Myles Turner. They want to move on from him from the Pacers, and the guy's the guy's everything we need. After seeing that Cat actually tries harder and has more energy on defense when he's kind of playing that on the wing and kind of using his width and his wingspan to disrupt stuff. You add the league's leading shot blocker back there, and I mean things are changing. If we could do something like Beasley and Culver for Turner, which works money wise, that adds a young piece to the Pacers, a knockdown shooter. They're not using Turner as a big, so they really don't lose much of anything, and they gain a 20-point per game scorer that they can add next to Levert and Brogdon and Sabonis. I mean that right there puts you at least right back where you were, if not even a better team. And not only is he a shot blocker, but um, Turner's like a 35% 3-point shooter. So with that roster of D'Lo, Edwards, I would start McDaniels at the three, which I've been pounding a stump for him to be a three the whole year, and then Cat and Turner. You have nobody that shoots under 35% from three, and you've got three guys that are almost 40% 3-point shooters. Like, talk about a five out. Like, what are you going to do? Like, who are you going to double off to try to stop any of those guys? When Edwards comes downhill, who are you going to drop to try to stop that when everybody around is a knockdown shooter? I mean, I think that's the move. And I think it works because the Pistons or the Pacers want him out, or not even want him out, but just like they realize that's not working for them. And I think it would work. I think it would work great. And if we don't move Beasley for him, we could also move Rubio in like a future first or something, and the money works. And the only reason that I could see the Pacers doing that is next year they're way over the cap no matter what. So it doesn't matter. But the year after that, almost everyone comes off their books, including Rubio at that time, except for Sabonis, Levert, and Brogdon, which are their three main guys, anyways. So they'd have their big three, and they'd have something like 40 or $50 million to play with. So at that point, they can go out and get a star. Hard to get a star in Indiana, but I'm saying I could see a GM be interested in that. I mean, that's the move I make. Um, I think we've got to do something like that. And the other sneaky move, if that doesn't fall through, that I think would be weird, but I would love it in a weird, sick way, would be Porzingis.
Ooh.
I think Dallas is ready to move on for Porzingis. Porzingis is pissed off at Dallas. Porzingis is a like it's fun to throw stones at Porzingis right now, but he's like a career 20 and 10 guy, averaged like 2 blocks most of his career, shoots 35% from three, 7-3. You talk about wingspan. You get him, Cat, McDaniels. I mean, we've got guys that get in. I mean, that would be a nice team too. I don't like his max contract, but we could fit it. If we do something like, I don't know how we'd have to make it work. I mean, we would probably move Beasley and Culver again. I think Beasley, Culver, and Wancho works. So that would give Dallas Luka if they end up keeping Hardaway. So you go Luka, Hardaway, Beasley on the wing. You talk about knockdown shooters for Luka. I mean, that's crazy right there. They've got Wancho if they want a big that can shoot. I mean, he'd be a bench guy, but they've already got Kleber, who's a shot blocking 3-point shooter, and they've got whoever that other big is, that athletic big. I forget his name.
Dwight Powell.
Powell. And so those guys are under contract. They could pick up some other big. Like that wouldn't be a terrible move for them either, especially if they're trying to dump 31 million or whatever Porzingis is making. Those would be my two moves. They'd be big splash in the pans, filling the spot of need of big power forwards that can play defense, can shoot the three. And I think either one of those guys in this lineup would put us at a very nice spot in the West. And they're both 25. Like they're both right in the same age bracket we need.
Mm-hmm. Jared, what do you think? Do you still think of the move to make it Simmons, or what do you think?
Well, I guess my quick answer is whether or not we land the pick. We land the pick. Yeah. I'm still in the Simmons bandwagon. However, I will say this about Myles Turner. Myles Turner is a player that I have loved from the beginning of his career up until about 2 years ago. And the reason why I say 2 years ago is because his role has changed so much with that team with the addition of Sabonis. Turner makes a lot of sense. The dude just plays defense. What do I say on this podcast all the time? You give me anybody that's going to play defense, I'm in. Turner plays defense, and he can shoot the three a little bit. Same thing. 100% in on that, especially if we don't land the pick. That's a non-land the pick move. If we land the pick move, we're going to be looking somewhere else where I think I mean, could we take on Turner and Mobley? I mean, maybe, like good Lord, like give me some guys that can play some defense. What did Chris just say? We were number 1 in offense and number 29 in defense with our core three. I mean, give me guys that can play defense. So I'm on board. Porzingis is a player that I have been absolutely in love with since the very beginning of his career. I also love that move, but I don't love the contract and the money behind it, and I think it's just something that doesn't work out. Does it antagonize Dallas to make that move? I mean, maybe. Like Chris said, you get some shooters in there, and good luck. But I love Porzingis. I just don't love the contract, and I don't think it can work financially. It's too much. But that's a player that I've loved, and a player that I would probably admit that I'm willing to admit that I was wrong on. He just hasn't been it lately, and it's been injuries his whole entire career, and that's just a shame because when the dude's 100%, the dude can light it up and he can play defense. Anybody that's going to play defense on the Timberwolves, give them to me. I don't care who. I don't care if it's Allen Iverson at age 45 who never played defense. Like, give me anybody that's signing up to play defense, I'm on board with. So I love both of those calls. I'm still gonna retract Ben Simmons one more time, but this is a if we land the pick move. If the Hawks were to beat the 76ers, you got to admit that those two just ain't working out. You can't be the number 1 seed and all this and that and just not get it done. What the transition would look like to make that pick, I think it would probably be Rubio, Beasley, Culver, and the pick maybe. I don't know. I'm not a GM expert, but something like that. To get Ben Simmons, I mean, you know what Ben Simmons does? He plays defense. You know what I want? A guy that plays defense. So I'm on board with any one of those 3 moves.
Absolutely. Chris, go ahead.
And the thing about Turner and Simmons that I love is they know what they do and they do that very well, and they don't do things that they don't do well. Like you don't see Turner breaking guys off the dribble and trying to you don't see him on Shaq and the Fool trying to do stuff he can't do. He's going to protect the rim. He's going to set a screen. He's going to fade, he's going to fade to the 3-point line. He's more athletic than people think. So at first I was super anti get a big next to Cat because I thought Cat can only play center. I didn't think he could be mobile enough to defend in space, and he proved me wrong. I mean, he's not great at it, but he's as good as he has as a rim protector, so he's fine, and he seems to like it, which is more important on defense or on anything. Is if you like doing something, you're going to work hard at it. So he seems to like doing that. And I watched a lot of tape recently on Turner, just isolating on him, and he can move. Like this guy can easily move with a guard or switch onto a guard on a pick and roll a little bit, move with the power forward. He's pretty agile. Now he's injured, and he's supposed to be healthy right about the time the season starts or preseason starts. So there's a little risk there, but I would take that. But he's making 18 million a year, so that's a nice contract to take on. That's a one thing over Simmons. Is Simmons is making 35 or whatever. That gets a little sticky. But again, Simmons can be a secondary ball handler. Simmons can do. I mean, he's literally the defensive player of the year type guy every year. So I think we got to do something like that. But if we get Evan Mobley, maybe we won't do either one of them. Maybe we'll just, I don't know. Well, I mean, we're bringing Bolmero in, which I want to talk about in a little bit. And I don't think it would be terrible to have Rubio here with Bolmero either. So, maybe we won't trade Rubio. I don't know. But I'm excited for this offseason, man. This is my time of year.
Mm.
One last thing I'll say about Turner is he's kind of been blackballed by the Pacers. Like his minutes are trending down. The dude's young. Like there's no reason for that to happen other than the fact that Sabonis is just extremely good. So that whole Turner trade aspect makes a ton of sense for both teams. So
sure.
I'm proud of you, Chris, with your GM mind. You did good on this one.
Mm-hmm.
He's 24, by the way. Dude, he's still a baby. But that's the thing with him and Porzingis. They're both injury prone. Or injury prone is a tough thing. They've both been injured multiple times. Like there's been guys like Curry who were injury prone in the beginning of his year, and everyone thought it was going to be a career, going to be a thing. And then he was healthy almost his whole career. So, you just got to hope they stay healthy. I mean, that's all you can do on these kind of things. You make the move and you hope that health comes with it.